Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this morning. The big show lined up, a special guest here. But first, let's take a look at our weather brought to us by good folks at Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard, he's coming on next week. This week he's up there in Kansas in a deer stand looking for big bucks. So we'll hear some stories from him and find out about a little Christmas get-together where we get the toys for the kids. So we'll know more about that next week. But anyway, moving on, we're looking at a high today of 70, a lot nicer day today. Low's only going to get down to 53. Our water temperature at the end of the pier brought to us by Maranta Marketing is at 67. Now, we've had to double check that because that's a big drop. I mean, that's like 4 to 5 degree drop in a short period of time. So, but it says 67, and that's a national, I mean, that's red right off the end of the pier. River readings brought to us by Panama City Coca-Cola. The Apalachicola Bluntstown this morning are 2.3, and the Choctaw Caribbean 1.1. Both rivers continue to be low. So be careful if you're on the river. The tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Good tide today. We have a high tide of 140 this morning. It's going out. It's going to be low right after lunch, about 115. And these tides with this north wind has really been low in the base system right in the middle of the day. Been way, way out. Our marine forecast is going to switch around west-southwest at about 5 to 10. All right, let's take a break and we'll be right back with our guest. All right, welcome back, and welcome to Officer Chris Bailey. He's back, and I'm glad to have you back.
Hey, glad to be here.
Congratulations. He's now a married man, and we had a great wedding, and everything going good.
Everything's going great, yep. Since last time I was on here, got married, went on vacation and all that, so happy to be back. Excited to be back and be married, and everything's going great.
That's awesome, and I know you already got a house. Your wife works out at FSU, so you're working hard at FWC, so things going good.
Things are going great.
All right. So anyway, Travis did a good job subbing for you, but you got a lot of information today. We're looking at your notes, so I'll let you get started.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all summer long and leading up to this, we talk about kind of the transition into hunting season. So now we're starting to really be in the thick of it. I hope some of y'all have been able to go out there and take advantage of archery and crossbow, maybe grabbed a big buck or two. But I'm going to start with going over some dates and things, just so y'all are aware. As I almost always say, snapper is still open. We're having the historic red snapper season that Governor DeSantis announced. So on the weekends, you can still fish for red snapper, but just remember later on this month, you get that extra day at Thanksgiving. So, before you start out there frying a turkey or whatnot, you can get out there and go fishing. Who knows, maybe you can have some red snapper on the Thanksgiving table as well. Also, the other day, I don't know if y'all saw it, but Governor DeSantis had a press conference where he announced that what they did for Gulf red snapper, as far as FWC taking over the regulations for the bag limit and the days of fishing, they're going to try to do that with the Atlantic as well. So that's probably going to be coming within the next year or so. So if any of y'all do go to the Atlantic, there'll probably be some similarities between the historic red snapper that we have here in the Gulf is also going to be to the Atlantic, which is pretty exciting. I'm pretty jazzed up about that. For all you dove hunters out there, dove is open. It's going to go till the end of the month, and then duck will start up again later this month as well. And I wanted to use it as an opportunity to talk about hunter safety real quick. If some of y'all have never dove or duck hunted before, we hear stories of hunting accidents, right? Well, when doves fly or ducks fly, I've been there. You're all excited. You're popping up real quick. You want to shoot them, but please ensure that you know where you're shooting, you know what direction you're shooting, and you know where the people you're hunting with are standing around you. Duck hunting and dove hunting, it's a very social event. A lot of people go in groups. So please ensure you know where your barrel is pointed. I mean, once that bullet fires, you're responsible for it. There's no taking it back. And time again, we get issues where, a bird will be flying, someone's real hot and excited. They're going, bam, they shoot, and they don't realize they swung all the way around and their buddy's right next to them. So just wanted to touch on that with hunter safety because that is very, very important.
I want to amen on that because I've seen that happen a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And then too, before the next time I see you all again, General Gun will open for deer. So that'll start the 27th through the 30th of this month, and then it's going to kick off again in December. Probably not until I'll probably be back on again, so I'll probably remind y'all that General Gun will be opening again in December. But Thanksgiving and all that, it's going to open back up again. Which again, I mean, with archery you have to be safe, but with firearms you have to be extremely safe. We have fun out there hunting, but you can never become complacent with safety. Because we want to avoid as many hunting accidents as possible. But General Gun will be opening up soon for deer. Just make sure you look at what zone you're in, if it's D1 or D2, for all the different regulations with CWD, bag limit, size, all that kind of stuff. And since the last time one of us was on here, Gator is closed. So if you have any Gator tags, make sure you turn them back into FWC. And if you make sure you're not out there hunting, we might see a little later on in the show, we might see a photo of a pretty good Gator case that came up. So just wanted to kind of, go over all that. And then the last thing, at the November commission meeting, they changed the regulations for lane snapper in Gulf waters. So it's going to go from 8 inches to 10 inches and a bag limit of 20. This is to reduce the risk of overfishing, mitigate potential closures, and also have consistency with federal regulations. So our commission meeting notes are all online at MyFWC. We have another meeting coming up, so y'all can look at all that.
Yeah, and that's a good rule, I think, going from 8 inches to 10 inches. We were talking about it when we were on a boat this past summer. That's a small fish, 8 inches.
8 inches is a small fish.
It really is. And so I was glad to see that. And then, of course, the limit of 20, that's good too. So, and that sort of prevents like you said, the overfishing, because some people go out there and just kept on going and kept on going.
Absolutely.
And you saw it, and I saw it too. So that's a lot of information there. And again, the safety in the duck fields and duck blinds is of extreme importance. No matter what age and no matter what, don't take it for granted that everybody is as safe as you are.
Mm-hmm.
And
exactly.
And especially when you have some young people out there that haven't hunted a lot. They need to be sort of talked to and instructed. We've had that situation this year.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break and be right back. Okay, welcome back. Here with Officer Chris Foley of the Fish and Wildlife Commission. We're always glad to have him, and he's always doing a lot of different things, but always full of information. So what we got next?
Well, while we're talking about, we just talked about some safety, so I want to bring up that there is going to be a local hunter safety course here in November on the 18th. So for those of you who don't know, if you're born after 75 and you want to go hunting, you have to have the hunter safety card. Now what that entails is you have to take an online portion of firearm safety, and then they have what's called a field day. So that's what's coming on the 18th. It's at Steelfield. FWC hosts it, and so what you do is you get taught firearm safety, hunting regulations. An officer will actually be there to give a presentation and have Q&As, and then you actually get to have some experience. You go out on the firing range with instructors, and you get to learn how to manipulate, like pistols, rifles, shotguns, all those kinds of things. So it's free. It's 100% free. Let the government give you something for free for once, and you can take that course. It's a great course, even if some of y'all, say you have nieces and nephews, kids, grandkids that you want to get into hunting. I know I'm excited. I have a niece and nephew twins, and they're babies, but when they get older, I'm excited to take them hunting. Mm-hmm. It's a great course. Even if you're not interested in hunting, it's great firearm safety introduction, and two, there's lots of benefits that come with that hunter safety ID card. First and foremost, you can buy a hunting license. The second thing is if you have that hunter safety card and a active hunting license, there's no waiting period on rifles and shotguns. So if you have that hunter safety card and say, oh no, you're going hunting tomorrow, and you pull your rifle out of the case that's been in there for, over a year, and it's rusted shut or something broke on it, you can go purchase a rifle or shotgun the morning of hunting, and you're ready to rock and roll. You don't have to wait. So, and you can use that field day for the firearm portion to go towards a concealed carry permit. So for anyone that wants to get into hunting or wants to learn more about firearm safety, we do have a course coming up at Steelfield. You sign up at myfwc.com, and it's on the 18th. And like I said, it's completely free. You just have to do an online portion then show up for the field day. And also, too, if you show up that day and you have a bunch of questions you want to ask an officer will be there. So it's really, really a great course. I highly recommend anyone to go to it, especially if you're introducing someone to hunting or if you're interested in hunting.
Yeah, it's so important for these young people to take that and just go in the field and see what's going on. And, of course, online, of course, you take it. But I was going to ask you, do we reciprocate when people come in from out of state? They have to have hunter safety, too.
They do. Yeah, we do have reciprocity with them, just like with boater safety ID cards.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people come in and think that a Georgia hunting license will be good in Florida. We don't do reciprocity with that, but for hunter safety and boating safety we do, but not for the actual hunting license.
Good deal. So make sure anyone interested in it to take advantage of that. Good deal. Okay.
While we're on the subject of safety, we've been having some cold weather. This week might be one of the coldest we've had so far this year, or at least this season. So when it comes to cold weather, especially on the water, if you're going to be on the river, if you take a boat to some hunting leases you get access by boat, or if you're going to be duck hunting, anything like that, please ensure that you are dressed warm, that you have, grab some hot hands, grab a space blanket. Those are cheap and small, and you can put them in a first aid kit. And make sure you have your life jacket. A boat is already not a very stable platform, especially then if you're going to be using a firearm while you're sitting on a boat. We really want to mitigate the risk of hypothermia or any sort of accidents on the water, because with this cold weather, it's already hard enough if you fall in the water trying to survive and get yourself out, life-saving aid. When you drop that temperature and the water temperature drops drastically, it just makes it even worse. You fall in the water. Well, when you get out of the water, the air a lot of times is going to be colder than the water temperature. So you get out into the air, and now you're doubly cold, right, from being wet and with the air. So please just make sure you're doing everything you can. Wear a life jacket, keep that head above water, or at least make them easily accessible. I know there's things out there like Mustang suits or, warm float coats where it's a warm jacket that is also a flotation device. So, get something like that. And if you are going to be wearing waders, make sure that, I wouldn't wear them when you're on the boat. I would put them on once you get where you're going. If you fall in with waders or you walk somewhere where that water is higher than what your waders are going to be and those fill up, you will not, you think, I could unclip and I'll get out easily. It's easier said than done. So please make sure that you take this cold weather into account when you're preparing to go out on the water.
That is such a valid point again now, and make sure people know where you're going. And if you're going out way back in the woods or duck hunting or squirrel hunting, make sure people know where you're going. I know you have your phone, but a lot of times way back in the woods out on the water, they can't find you. So make sure they know. But you're right about dressing right. I've talked to people who's actually fallen in cold weather, and they had their jacket on. They would not have made it if they had a jacket on. So these are true outdoorsmen that didn't mean to fall in. They just accidentally. It don't happen. I mean, it don't take but a second for it to happen.
Well, and I know we all get prideful too, right? It's the whole thing about not wearing a helmet on a bicycle and all that kind of stuff, but it's not worth it. Get the things, get space blankets, get float coats, everything you can. Because when you need it, it's you want to make sure that.
That's funny you said that about wearing a bicycle helmet, because I do. I wear that bicycle, and it's a bright orange one too. So and I when I was probably younger, I wouldn't even thought about it. But you're right. You get a little bit wiser as you age or something.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you said about knowing where you are. I know not everyone has the capabilities of smartphones and things, but the absolute best thing that you can have, especially when you talk to law enforcement on the phone and you call 911, is GPS coordinates. If you can somehow get to where you are, find your GPS coordinates, screenshot them so they're readily available if you do need to. If you are talking to emergency services on the phone and you need to give them your location, GPS services are the absolute best thing, because not everywhere is, we try to have platforms for everything, but sometimes we have vessels that can't get to where you are, and we may have to send people out on foot or send a canine officer, or even a helicopter. If you have GPS coordinates, that's the best thing. Up in Jackson County this past week, we had a lost hunter. He was found successfully and he was okay, but that was the biggest thing, was location. If we had good GPS coordinates, we can find you like that. So please do everything you can. A lot of times if you pull up Google Maps or Apple Maps, it'll have your coordinates. If you're using something like Onyx, that'll give you your GPS coordinates. It'll also tell you, whose property you're on. So make sure you're not trespassing and those kinds of things. But GPS coordinates are the absolute best information we can have when we are trying to find you.
Another valid point about the coordinates and all, you can tell what property you own, and you don't have an excuse for trespassing if you're a lot of private land around, because even the signs are up, some people still sort of go in the back door and some people maybe not realize it. But that lost hunter in Jackson County, it wasn't a guy named Billy Grantham, was it?
I don't remember.
No, he that's a joke. He's watching probably this morning.
Okay.
But it happens. They get lost every year. You got to find some lost hunters, don't you?
Absolutely. And like I said, those coordinates are the best thing, because we have canines, we have aviation, we have everything to find you. But if we don't know where to look, we don't know where to look.
All right, we're going to take a final break. Come back with Chris. Okay, always one of the highlights of the month is always have FWC on, especially when we get to do the cases of the month. Let's take a quick look at our fishing game times first, though, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers, 5:02 to 7:02 this morning, and this evening, 5:25 to 7:25. So, Chris, you send me some pictures, and also, y'all, every month you're going to have a case of the month, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And try to.
Okay, so here we go.
So the first two cases that we have are both from Officer Brady and Officer Agoff, who are both two local officers here in Bay County. You may have met them out there, but it's them on water patrol and some different cases. So the first one is a bunch of short red grouper. So as you can see here, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, and I believe it was only 2 people, so it may have been over the bag as well.
Wow.
But one things that we're seeing, and I've talked about before, is make sure that you have a good measuring device. Right there in the bottom of this photo, you can see our check-it stick that we use to check the fish. But some of those ones, especially if it's the like the foam ones that are installed on boat, like the C-deck stuff, that stuff can shrink over time. Make something you have. Those check-it sticks are great because they have that hard, flat, vertical point at the front, so you can really push right up against it. You're not having to hold a fish on something. So that was pretty good resource case by them out there on the water. Even though it was cold, they got out there and made some cases. Next one, again, here in Bay County, some more short fish. We got some beeliners, a vermilion snapper, and a short trigger as well. Make sure that trigger fish, remember it's fork length, not total. There's good apps out there. Fish rules, all those kinds of things.
That's important on the trigger fish. It's right there, right in the fork. Yep.
And we try to help people out. We pinch that tail, try to give you every centimeter we can. But make sure that if you are fishing anything that has that fork or total length, make sure you keep it.
Some little beeliners.
I know. We were just talking about short fish. I'm not sure what what the purpose would be, but yeah. So another great resource case by them. Shout out to Officer Dave Brady and Ashley Agoff.
Okay.
So this next photo, this one's more of a feel-good story, not so much a case, but this was a injured gopher tortoise that got hit by a car and its shell was completely collapsed.
Oh.
Luckily, one of our officers, it was actually Officer Agoff again, was able to rescue the gopher tortoise, get it to one of our rehabbers, and it's still in rehabilitation right now, but they were able to patch up the shell and get it completely. It's expected to make a full recovery.
Oh, cool.
Yep, so that's one of those success stories. We have certified rehabbers for all different kinds of animals. So if you do see one that is injured that could be rehabilitated, please call us. We have officers that can come out and get them, take them to one of our licensed rehabbers depending on the species, and try to make it a full recovery. Some things are beyond rehab, unfortunately, but I saw the before pictures of this. I didn't want to show them because they're kind of gruesome. And if I would have arrived on scene, I'm not a biologist, but I probably would have thought it wasn't going to make it. But it's a cool, great success story that we do have those capabilities. So if there are any injured wildlife, please let us know, and we will make sure we can try to get it to a rehabber as quick as possible, and they can get a full recovery.
I like that technique. That technique of how they sort of have it taped together, because you couldn't put a cast on it, so that's what you do it like that. That's cool.
Yep.
Okay, this next case, this is interesting here.
All right, so earlier when I said we were talking about gator, I said we might see a photo later. So in this photo here, you obviously see a gator, a rifle, and some officers. So the story is, on the right, that's Officer Josh Stallings. He's a great officer, works over in Franklin County. Me and him were actually in the academy together. And he was in Tate's Hell management area on patrol, and saw a vehicle that was shining a light that is common that we see with night hunting. Saw an individual get out of the truck with a rifle, point it in a ditch, and fire. So Officer Stallings ran up there real quick, and wouldn't you know, when he got up there was a guy holding a gator. So that alligator there was poached, hunting at night in a management area, taking a gator from a management area, didn't have tags, a whole litany of issues. And next to him is Officer Berglund, who was a backup officer who showed up. But, in situations like this individual was physically arrested, taken to jail for all the litany of charges, and also the rifle and gator were seized.
Good for them.
Yep.
They don't. I mean, why? Why are they going to shoot? I don't want a big gator at all. I mean, that's a little small gator.
Yeah.
But I know when he was literally caught red-handed. I mean, if he had the gator,
Absolutely caught red-handed.
he had to have been surprised.
Oh, absolutely. It's a surprise of a lifetime.
The light came on, and here he is holding that gator. And I guess anytime as an officer at night you see those lights shining, that's a red flag big time, I guess.
It is, and a lot of times we'll interact with people who are out there very innocently just shining because they want to look at wildlife. They have no firearms or anything on them, but driving around a management area at night and that shining a light that's conducive with night hunting is going to raise our alarms a little bit. And Officer Stallings, good on him, right place, right time, but we can't be everywhere at once. The age-old saying with police and criminals is they have to be lucky every time. We only have to be lucky once. But like I said, we can't be everywhere. So if you do see anything that is suspicious, especially when it comes to night hunting, that's one of the most dangerous things. We have bullets flying at night. Please call our wildlife alert hotline. If you have an officer's work phone number, our dispatch number, please call us because we want to make sure that we deter this kind of behavior because of how dangerous it can be. And also, we want to mitigate closures and season dates and all those kinds of things if something's being over-harvested for night hunting.
That's great. That's some good cases of some fishing cases and night hunting cases, and that. And I guess night hunting going to get more prevalent here. Cases as the weather cools off like it has.
It will be, and I'm sure next time I'm on here, usually that opening weekend of General Gun, we find quite a few violations. So please, I know the opportunity and the temptation's there if it's before shooting hours and you see is something pretty, or even if it's after shooting hours, but it's not worth it, not only for your own criminal record, but also for the longevity of wildlife.
If you see something, call them up and report them. We run out of time.
No.
Thanks, Chris. Good job. Good
Absolutely.
show today. Appreciate it. Appreciate y'all watching the show. Y'all do something good for you fellow man today. You have a great day. Enjoy the outdoors, and let's take care of it. And God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.